Good morning and welcome to our webinar. This is Bill Witt and with Senior Resource Center, and this is the first of a four-part series of women in retirement. We wanted to create some webinars specifically focused on the needs that women have. And today's topic is very pertinent. We're going to talk about Social Security. And what you may not realize is when Social Security was created back by President Roosevelt, the rules were designed to assist women. The program actually is set up principally to benefit women. And so today we're going to talk about ways to maximize the income that you get from Social Security. It's now my pleasure to introduce my business partner, Tara Kendrick. Tara, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm really excited to have everybody on the webinar. And just a little housekeeping, there is a blue little talk bubble at the top of your screen. So at the end of the presentation, or actually anytime during the presentation, if a question pops in your head, just go ahead and type it in there. And then at the end, we'll address all of your questions. Now, I'm just going to kind of give you a little warning is this is going to be a fire hose of information. So the only thing you need to know at the end of this presentation is our phone number, okay? So just remember that we're always available. We'll answer any questions, and this is a complex thing to learn and understand, and that's why it's good to just get a brief overview, but then come talk to us about your own personal story and details. Okay, let's get started. So, how confident are you that you're going to be able to fully retire with a lifestyle you consider comfortable? Now, this was a survey that was put out, and they looked at or asked women and men about their confidence in retirement. And you know, it's pretty kind of eye-opening that only 64% of women were confident and 72% of men. But let's break it down a little bit more. Okay, so they asked the workers, will you have enough money to live comfortably through your retirement years? And unmarried women, only 11% felt comfortable. Then they asked the next question, what about just taking care of basic needs during retirement? Again, only 23% were confident. And then doing a good job preparing financially. Again, 15% only felt confident. So this really shows that people need to look at what options they have, and they need to plan ahead to be prepared and feel comfortable in retirement. So here's a quote. This came from a study by MetLife on women, retirement, and an extra long life. And unfortunately, this is true in a lot of cases. Women in general have greater concerns about their retirement security, yet do less than needed to plan for adequately addressing those concerns. But the good news is you're on this webinar, so you're taking one step to address these concerns and plan for your own retirement. But here's the reality for women. Just in general, we're still in the age, surprisingly, in 2021, where women earn about 82 cents for every dollar that men earn. So our overall lifetime earnings are about over $400,000 lower than a man. That means to break even with the amount of money that a man makes in 40 years, women actually have to work an extra 10 years or 50 years. So what does that mean? That means we have lower lifetime earnings, our pensions are going to be lower, but the disadvantage or advantage is that we end up living longer lives. So we actually need to have that extra money. So this is where you may want to consider, I don't know why these are so slow, working a few more years. So what's the value of working longer? Well, if you have a couple more years of earnings, you can pay down any debt you have. You can add to your retirement savings. And then that benefits you because then you can reduce the amount you're taking out of your retirement to live off of earlier. And then what we're going to talk about today is it'll also raise your Social Security benefit. All right. So what is the value of Social Security and how can you increase your lifetime benefits? So Social Security is one of the only incomes that you can't outlive. So, for example, if let's say your monthly benefit on Social Security was $2,000 today, if you live 10 more years, you're going to actually receive $276,000 in lifetime benefits. But if you lived more than 30 years, which surprisingly many of us probably will at this day and age, you're going to receive over $1 million in lifetime benefits from Social Security alone. This is the only benefit that increases with inflation or cost of living adjustments. So your $2,000 today in 10 years will be over $2,400, and in 30 years it's going to be over $3,600. So there is a value in Social Security, and it shouldn't go on the wayside and just be like, oh, it's there, who cares? Because it is an important piece of someone's overall retirement planning. All right. So let's look at some rules and strategies. And, depending on whether you're married, you've been divorced, you're a widow, or you're remarried, there are different strategies for each particular one. All right, so the questions you need to ask when you're thinking about these strategies, the first one is, do you qualify for benefits on your own work record? And what that means is, have you paid into Social Security for at least 10 years? Are you currently married? And is your husband already receiving Social Security? Or have you been married in the past? So have you been divorced? Did your marriage end by death? All these things are things you need to think about when you're looking at Social Security and retirement. So depending on your answers, you could be entitled to your own work history, obviously, but you could also be entitled to more than that. You could get a spousal benefit, a divorced spouse benefit, or even survivor's benefits. So the big piece of this, and this is where we come in and we can help you, is how you coordinate these benefits is really important to your overall Social Security income. So it's when you file and what benefit you file is how much you're going to get over your lifetime. All right, so let's look at some definitions in Social Security terms. The first one is your full retirement age. What is that? That is the age that you can get your 100% of your benefit. So we'll just use age 9. So if you were born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is age 67. If you were born between 43 and 54, your full retirement age is age 66. So that's your full retirement age. The next one is called your PIA, and that's your primary insurance amount. That's how much you will receive at your full retirement age. So in this example, this person's full retirement age is 66. So at 66, she's going to get $2,029 a month. So that's your PIA. So that's the amount of money you'll receive at your full retirement age. Okay. So when we use the word retirement benefits, that means your benefits. So what your benefits are. How do you know where to even find your benefits? Well, it's really easy. You can go to ssa.gov or socialsecurity.gov, and you can actually create an account and you can pull up your own statement. They also have a retirement estimator and they have a benefit calculator. So all of these are really good, but I definitely recommend going ahead and getting your own account, because then you can go in and you look at your own work history, see if there's any zeros that shouldn't be there. Maybe, the IRS didn't tell Social Security that you contributed that year, and you need to go in and fill in that gap. It's real important to do that. So go ahead and check out what your PIA is, what it would be at age 70, and make sure there's no zeros on your account. Okay. So a big thing that we talk to people about is claiming strategies. So your retirement is going to, your benefit is going to depend on when you claim. So let's talk about what if you decided to claim before your full retirement age. Well, a lot of people will think, oh, I'm 62. I'm just going to go down to Social Security and I'm going to go ahead and claim my Social Security benefit. Great. Well, if you show up at the Social Security office, they will be happy to sign you up. But what you're doing is you're doing yourself a disadvantage. So if you look at age 62, you're going to get 70% of what you would have gotten at your full retirement age. So I'm going to get only $1,400 of my $2,000. And every year you are going to get a little bit more, but it is advantageous to wait until age 67, because at 67 you're going to get 100%. So if at 100% at 2,000, that's what you're going to aim for, and that's where we definitely recommend that you wait as long as you possibly can. Okay, so what if you apply after your full retirement age? Well, this is when you get some benefits. So every year that you wait, you get an extra 8% of delayed credits. So at $2,000 at age 67, but if I waited to age 70, my amount is going to actually start at $2,480. And remember, if you start lower, you stay lower. If you start higher, it's going to get bigger over time. So it's real important to remember that low number, even if you want to, will always stay low. Okay, next one. Okay, so bigger checks start when you make your claiming later. And this is real important. So you can see if I claimed at 62, I'm only going to get $1,400. And at age 70, that $1,400 with the cost of living adjustment is only going to go up to $1,640. But if I wait till 70 and claim with cost of living adjustment, I can get up to $2,906. $2,906 is a lot higher of a number to start with than $1,640. So it definitely will benefit you to wait and claim as late as you possibly can. Okay, so why delay benefits? Well, because you're going to get more money later on. So look at this. Let's say age 80. If I claimed at 62, I'm only going to get $2,000 a month. But if I waited to 70, that amount will be $3,542. What if I lived to 100? If I lived to 100 and claimed at 62, my amount's only $2,971, but it would be $5,263 at 70. So, I mean, I know I'm kind of beating this into your heads, but the longer you wait, the more money you get. It grows with inflation because, you know, in 20 years, a loaf of bread could cost $10. So it's beneficial to not delay, to delay as long as you can and take it as late as you can. All right, so kind of a recap. If you apply earlier, your benefits start lower and they stay lower. Cost of living magnifies the amount and impact of your delaying strategy. So the longer you live, the more beneficial it is to delay benefits. So if you know you have a long life and you know your mom or dad lived into their 90s, it would be worth waiting. And remember that this impacts your survivor benefits as well. And this is where it's real important to have a conversation with your husband about delaying his benefits for as long as he can, because if he dies first, it will increase your own survivor benefit. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Okay. And again, I feel like I beat this into you guys on this thing about your full retirement age, but here's reasons not to file before full retirement age. Your benefit will be permanently reduced. But let's talk about working. Some people like to work in their 60s. So it might not be beneficial to file early because there's the earnings test. So for every $2 you earn over $18,960 this year, they're going to take away $1 of your benefits. So it really might not be beneficial for you to start early because you're actually not going to get anything. And you can't take advantage of the savvy spousal strategies that we'll talk about before your full retirement age. All right. Spousal benefits. Now, this is important because if you are married, there are strategies to work with to say, okay, should we take now, take later, take one, take the other? And these strategies can be a difference between $200,000 to $300,000, maybe even $400,000 over your lifetime. And this is where Bill and I have a calculator that if you come in and see us, we can do different strategy, and we don't tell you what to do, but we show you claim now, claim later, claim spousal, wait, both wait to 70, and then you can see the impact over your lifetime. So this is where you can come see us and we can talk about what makes the most sense for you and your husband. Okay. So this is where we're going to get into the weeds. So brace yourself. And again, remember, this is complicated, and that's why it's good to talk to somebody like us, and we'd love to help. So let's see. Let's say you file for your spousal benefits. So you qualify for your benefit and you qualify for a spousal benefit. So let's say you file before your full retirement age. You're going to receive your own reduced benefit first. And then if your PIA is less than 50% of your husband's PIA, you may also be able to get the spousal benefit. Now, he has to go on claim to do this, so remember that. But if your PIA is more than 50% of your husband's PIA, you cannot receive the spousal benefit. So let me give you an example. So Jack's PIA is $2,400 and Jill's is $800. So obviously it's less than half of his. So she's going to go ahead and file Social Security at 62, and she's going to get a smaller amount of $560. What Social Security will do is they will add on 1/2 of Jack's PIA minus her PIA and then reduce that by 35%. So that comes out to $260. So they add that $260 to the $560. So her benefit is $820. And remember, this is less than 50% of Jack's PIA because she claimed at age 62. But sometimes this works, especially when, say, Jill's not working, to go ahead and get that money early. But again, we have to see. And again, you don't have to know the math, you just got to know our phone number. All right. So let's say you qualify for retirement benefit and a spousal benefit at your full retirement age. Now, this is where if you go to Social Security, they're not going to give you, they're going to tell you, you got to take whichever one is higher, which is obviously what you would do. So you'll receive either your own PIA or 50% of your spouse's, whichever is higher. Now, there is a way to do a restricted claim. There's a special benefit, and we'll kind of touch on it, but you had to have been born before January 2nd of 1954 to do that. So this is that strategy. But remember, if you weren't born before January 2nd of 54, we can't do this anymore because they took this away. So what they would allow you to do is Jack, let's say his PIA was 2,000, but yours is actually higher than his, it's 2,400. So what you could do is at your full retirement age, you could go in and claim your spousal benefit. So then you would start receiving $1,000 a month for those 4 years. And while you let your own work history PIA roll up, and then when you turn 70, you could switch to your retirement benefit, which would be $3,168. So this was a really great strategy to maximize Social Security, but unfortunately it's kind of gone away. But if you fall into this category, please call us and we can talk about looking at ways to make sure you're maximizing your benefit. Okay, so ladies, if you were married over 10 years to the same husband and now currently unmarried, pay attention. All right, so here's a divorced spouse benefit. Now, this is the same as a spousal benefit, okay? So let's say Dick and Dora were divorced and they were married for more than 10 years. Now, Dora is 62 or older and she's still unmarried. Dick's PIA is $2,400 and he is also over 62. So what she can do is she can file for her divorced spouse benefit at her full retirement age. So she's going to have to wait till 66 or 67, but at that point, she can get 50% of his PIA or $1,200. And the crazy thing is Dick's benefit is not going to be affected. Social Security will not even notify him that she is claiming on his work history. If Dick's currently married, his spousal benefit is not affected. And if Dick was married to 2 or 3 women for over 10 years and they're claiming on his work history, they will not be affected. So a lot of people don't know that you can do that, but you actually can do that. Okay. Again, this goes back to you have to be born before January 2nd of 54. You could do the same Savvy divorce badge strategy. Dick's PIA is 2,400. Dora's is 2,000. She goes in at 66. She files a restricted claim on her husband, her ex-husband. She receives $1,200 a month. She lets her own work history roll up and then goes back in and claims her own at 2,640. So it's a pretty nice deal, but again, you have to be a certain age to do this. Okay, so what about survivor benefits? Now, a lot of us don't want to imagine not having a spouse, but at some point, especially since women tend to outlive men, there may be a situation where you're going to be receiving spousal benefits, or survivor benefits. So you want to make sure to plan ahead so that if that day comes, you know that you've made the right choices up front. So your amount of survivor benefit depends on 2 things. Your original benefit, so that's when your spouse claimed his benefit, and then the actual benefit, which means when you decide to go in and claim that benefit. Okay, so the original benefit is based on the worker, so your husband's benefit and when he claimed. So let's look at this example. Jack and Jill are married. Jack's PIA is $2,400. He dies at 70 or older, okay? So if he claimed his benefit at 70, Jill's original survivor benefit is based on his benefit at the time of his death. So his PIA was at $2,400, but he claimed at 60, which means he got that roll-up benefit. So his actual benefit was $2,976. So she gets that $2,976. But what if he didn't do that? What if he claimed at 62? At 62, what happens to her is she's only going to get 82.5% of Jack's PIA. So she's only going to get $1,980. And this is why we say that women should be the Social Security decision makers for the family, because the age at which Jack files for his benefit is directly going to affect Jill's survivorship benefit. And she's the one, that needs to push to make the decision to let the higher breadwinner wait as long as they possibly can. Okay, so this is a big chart, so just roll with it. The actual survivor benefit is based on when the widow claims. So this is looking at, okay, we have the original benefit when the spouse filed for Social Security, and this is when the widow claims, okay? So if she's over 60, she can apply at any time. But you might want to wait because you're going to get a reduced amount if you claim early. Now, remember, there are a lot of women who are still working at 60. So you wouldn't want to do this if you're still working. But as you can see on the table, let's say Jill applies for her survivor benefit at 60. She's going to get a fraction of the original amount. She's only going to get $1,716 a month. We also see that if Jack had applied for his benefit at 62, then Jill's going to get a much smaller survivor benefit regardless of when she claims it. So the most she could ever get would be $1,980. But if Jack claimed at 70 and then Jill claims her survivor benefit at her own full retirement age or later, she can get as much as $2,976. So I think you can see that it's all about claiming later, claiming later, claiming later. You're going to get more money, more money, more money. All right, so just to recap, survivor benefits can be claimed as early as age 60, assuming your husband's died before then. If your husband dies after you turn 60, you can claim it immediately, but you're going to get a reduced amount. And you do have to be married at least 9 months in order to claim in case of or accept in case of an accident. So a lot of people don't know that. Okay. So this is something we talk to a lot of people about. You can't receive your survivor benefit and your own. And this, some people don't think about this when they're married and then one spouse dies and they're looking at their overall income and their expenses. So Jack and Jill are married. They're both over 70. Jack's benefit is $2,976. Jill's, she's didn't claim on her own work history. She took the spousal benefit at $1,200. So their combined income is $4,176. That's good. That's what they're living on. That's what they're paying their bills on. Well, then Jack dies. Well, Jill's going to step up to the higher benefit amount. She's going to drop her $1,200 and get his $2,976. But what that means is her income after he dies is going to go from $4,100 to $2,900. So your bills aren't going to change. Your mortgage isn't going to change. Your taxes aren't going to change, but your income is significantly going to change. And this is where, as women, we have to consider to plan for that loss of income. And that's really important that we kind of look ahead. And the next couple, we're going to talk about long-term care next week, but in the coming weeks, we're going to talk about how we can use certain strategies and tools to replace that loss of income. And it's good to plan ahead for that so you know to prepare if your husband dies early. Okay, so divorced spouse survivor benefits are the same as survivor benefits. So if you don't get remarried and you are divorced and your ex-spouse dies, that's the same as a regular survivor benefit. So the marriage had to have lasted at least 10 years, and you have to be currently unmarried, or you have to have remarried before age 60. So this example, Sam and Sue were married for 10 years and then got divorced, but then Sam died in 95 and Sue never got remarried. So as soon as she turned 60, she is eligible for a reduced divorced spouse benefit, survivor benefit. Okay, so if you think you're going to outlive your spouse or your ex-spouse, you really should encourage them to delay their start of their retirement benefits to 70. And if your spouse dies before filing at 70, Social Security will include the delayed credits earned up to that date of his death. So that's good. And then claim your own survivor benefit at full retirement or later, and then you're going to get more bang for your buck. And then also coordinate this benefit with your own retirement benefit. Okay, so let's look at that. Look at survivor benefits and retirement benefits. So let's say you qualify for both. You get your retirement benefit and you are a survivor. So now these strategies are a little more complicated. And again, this is why you come see us and we can talk about ways to help and figure out what makes the most sense for you. So here's an example. Linda, her PIA is $1,000. Her survivor benefit is $2,200. So the way to maximize what she can get over her lifetime, she's actually going to go in and claim early. And I know I've been talking about don't claim early, but let's say Linda's not working and she can go in, claim on her own work history. So she's only going to get $700. And then in 4 years or 5 years, when she reaches her full retirement age, she's going to go in and switch to her survivor benefit. And the reason why she would do that is because she's leaving money on the table. If she's not working, she should go ahead and take it. And even if she let her own PIA roll up at age 70, it's still not going to match the $2,200 she's going to get from her survivor benefit. So why not go in, take some money you can get today, and then wait until your full retirement age, and then turn on your survivor benefit at its max. All right, let's say your survivor benefit is lower than your own work history benefit. So here's an example. So Dora's PIA is $2,000, okay? So her survivor benefit is only $1,800. So you can see hers is higher. So what Dora's going to do is she's going to go in and claim her survivor benefit at 60, because that's as early as she can do it. She's going to get a reduced amount, but what that's going to give her an opportunity to do is then let her own work history roll up to 70 and then take the max for herself. So she's grabbing some now and more later. So this is again just one of those strategies that we can work with you on if you've got these options. So to recap, remarriage at any age cancels out divorced spouse benefits unless that marriage ends, and you must be unmarried to collect divorced spouse benefits. So you get remarried, that means that basically your Social Security benefits will now be tied to your new spouse. But if you remarry before 60, your survivor benefits and your divorced spouse survivor benefits will end. But if you wait until after 60, you actually can receive your survivor benefits. So if and this is again something to think about, if your spousal benefits are less than if your spousal benefits are less than your survivor benefit, it may be beneficial to, just stretch out that dating process, live in sin, whatever you think, to get past that age 60 so you can keep those benefits for yourself. All right. So, ladies, really encourage your husband or your spouse to delay his benefit to 70. And for your own benefit, consider your spouse's life expectancy. So if you know that your husband is not going to live very long, whether it's a health condition or heredity or whatever, you could claim an early benefit on your own record because you'll be switching to your survivor's benefit soon. But if you know your spouse lives long, then you really want to maximize your own benefit and wait till your full retirement age or age 70, because eventually you'll be receiving your survivor benefit if it's higher than your own for many, many years. So I know this is a lot of information. There's a lot of strategies, and that's where we have this really good software that can help us figure out what's going to be the best for you and your spouse, or for you personally if you're a single woman. So you want to always compare your own benefit to your survivor benefit. You want to take the higher benefit last, and don't remarry before age 60 if you qualify for a survivor benefit. So, kind of to sum up, because we're women, we have to plan for that extra long life. We could live to 95. We could live to 105. So many of our clients are living that long. Social Security provides inflation adjustment income for as long as you live. It's going to go up with inflation. We want to start at a higher number so it continues to get higher. And remember that the decisions you make in your 60s are going to determine how much money you're going to have in your 70s, 80s, 90s, and even into your 100s. So delaying your benefits give you higher income later on. And you want to look at if you have the opportunity to coordinate either your spousal benefit or your survivor benefits to give yourself some extra income while you're delaying your own benefit. And, just remember that Social Security is just a small piece or a big piece, depends on your situation, of your overall retirement income plan. So there are other ways to get income from your retirement investments, and that's what we'll be talking about later, and something that we help a lot of people with looking out 30 years. So with that, I know that was a lot of information, but if you've got some questions, go ahead and plug them in, and Bill and I will answer them as we get them. And remember, our consultations are always free. You're more than welcome to ask us questions, shoot us an email, give us a call, come in. And then if you want to take it a step further and have us run some calculators for you to see what kind of benefit you have for your future, we're happy to do that as well. Okay, someone asked, what is the PIA? That's your primary income amount, and that is what you would get at your full retirement age. So that's your 100% of your benefit. So if my full retirement age is 67, my PIA is what I would get at age 67. So let's say it's $2,000. And then if I wait, for every year that I wait, it rolls up 8%. So I can actually get 124% of what my PIA is if I wait and claim at age 70. So I hope that helps.
Tara, I tell you, just listening to you tell this story, Social Security was supposed to be simple, and unfortunately, the rules make it a lot more complex. There's so many claiming decisions. The timing affects claiming. For the people attending, we're going to send them a copy of our book on how to create more money for retirement. And in the chapter on Social Security, we have a chart that's very interesting. It shows the cumulative lifetime payout from Social Security based on claiming at 62, at 67, or at 70. And the interesting thing is that the crossover point is around age 78. If you plan to live beyond age 78, delaying your claiming decision increases your lifetime payout. And for people that are living into their 80s and 90s, it means a lot more money from Social Security. Just one source of income, but an important one that's indexed for inflation to help us keep up with rising costs. So, Tara, this has really been good. What's our next topic coming up next week?
Yeah, so next week we're going to talk about how to plan for long-term care. So ways to pay for long-term care, what you can do today to plan for paying for long-term care. And I know a lot of people have questions about that. What benefits are out there, what strategies you can use in the future to prepare yourself for your long-term care needs. So with that, I appreciate all of you that are on today, and I hope you have a wonderful week. I'll be sending out this webinar, so if you want to listen to it again, you're welcome to through the link, and then it'll also be posted on our website. So have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.